Hi, I'm James from Chaosium. I sat down with Bridget Jeffries and we talked about the Miskatonic Repository. Miskatonic Repository Con just happened, and there's a lot of information out there for people who want to turn their hand towards writing Call of Cthulhu scenarios. Bridget shared some of this information with us. I'm going to jump over to that interview in just a moment, but first, remember to subscribe to the Chaosium YouTube channel. It helps us out and it lets us make more content like this. Thanks.
Miskatonic Repository Con, it returned for its second official year. We just hosted it last week, which have been October 15th through the 17th, I believe were the dates on that one. It's an online con created by content creators. Our chairman, Heinrich Moore, or you may know him as Niels van Duten, on Facebook, actually kind of started pulling interested members of the community together to come up with this con. So although it's completely supported by Chaosium, and they have been amazing. They provided us with a logo, all type of feedback. They've been helping us market and share. This is literally like a little con made by other content creators. So it was great. Some amazing stats that we got. We tripled the number of games that we ran from our inaugural year to this year, which is amazing. We saw a lot of new content creators come out, advertising their stuff, running their stuff, debuting their things, especially from the RPG workshop Storytellers Collector. There was just a wave of new Miskatonic Repository content creators that came in through there. So that was amazing. We had over 31 events, over 100 tickets sold, and we had 3 panels with, in my personal opinion, some of the heaviest hitting people in the industry. We had a Respect and Writing panel that had Oscar Rios, Helen Gould, Sam Riordan, Lynn Hardy, the absolutely amazing Lynn Hardy, which was amazing. The ambassadors, myself, Nick Brook, and Alan Carey had another panel. And then we had our final panel, which was directed towards more comfortable, more seasoned content creators, like those who aren't beginner writers, but have kind of been in the game, have a few things out, kind of got, their wings about them. And we had Mike Mason there for that one, Sean Branny, Michael Frida, and Lynn Hardy again. So the panels were phenomenal, and they're floating around right now. Either follow the Miskatonic Repository Convention Facebook page. Ooh, honey, that's such a mouthful. You can hop onto our Discord, and you can find clips of those. But it was a great convention. Events were going off. People were networking. New bundles are being conspired about. Questions are being asked. And it's a really great networking opportunity for content creators, no matter whether you're a neophyte or you're completely seasoned, to get in, connect with other people, and kind of share your experiences. It was phenomenal. It was a great con, and I'm still exhausted.
So speaking of neophytes and people who are getting into writing for Call of Cthulhu, for creating content, I'd like to talk about different routes that people take. I've noticed recently that a lot of the people coming in tend to have really different perspectives on how they got involved in the mythos. Some of them are coming straight from the gaming angle. Some of them are bigger fans of cosmic horror and are, maybe approaching from some of the literary side. Others are coming in from pop culture. Are those the main branches that you tend to see people approach? Are there any other interesting ways that people tend to come across the mythos who are joining the Miskatonic repository?
I'm gonna say you hit the 3 big ones: just literary exposure, gaming exposure. You see common threads. Hey, my friends and I play D&D, but we're now considering Call of Cthulhu. This is a pivot. How do we? So we see a lot of that. I think some other angles or avenues that people come in are conventions. I know at Origins, Lurking Fears actually put on, Jesus, Jamie, I bet they had like 100 and something events. And I want to say like 85% of those events were all Call of Cthulhu. I was working the Call of Cthulhu booth, and I cannot tell you how many people just was like, heard of this Call of Cthulhu, haven't played it. Let me go ahead and do a 2-hour demo. And we're like, and are running to the booth like, okay, where do I start? The starter set? Okay. And then what else do I do? And another thing is, I really do believe in my heart that we are seeing a new age of young gamers coming into the hobby period. I just feel like there's so much momentum there. If you look at oh my God, did you see the numbers on the Avatar Kickstarter? Jamie, Jamie, the numbers were obnoxious. Is that because that many people really love role-playing games? Or is it because they really love that setting? How many people are now going to get exposed to role-playing games just because they were interested in that setting? So I feel like our hobby thankfully, is becoming more normalized. I feel like it's getting more traction. I feel like it's more comfortable. So we're getting a lot of new gamers in, and there's a lot out there. But Call of Cthulhu and Chaosium are swinging hard, honey, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I am 100% here for it.
We've spoken about the kind of beginner aspect of creators that are coming into the Miskatonic Repository, how maybe they're coming in from all these different perspectives. I'd like to know what the kind of more professional end of the Miskatonic Repository looks like. I know that all these really established Call of Cthulhu authors like Paul Fricker, amongst others, are publishing on the Miskatonic Repository. Indie community at the MR conventions, what does the sort of later end when you are more established in the community look like?
Oh, I tell you what, it looks like a lot of things that are really exciting. So you dropped Paul Fricker's name, which Paul Fricker is just absolutely phenomenal. He actually is one of the developers of the RPG Storyteller Collective workshop that's coming out. Just amazing. But let's talk about some major people who are on the Miskatonic Repository. John Hook has content on the Miskatonic Repository. Dave Salalas, I'm going to mispronounce his name, and Keeper Dave. Let's just go with Keeper Dave. And I love you, Dave. If you heard me botch your last name, I always call you Keeper Dave. That's what you get. It's on the repository. So I want to immediately debunk the idea that the Miskatonic Repository is for the new people. There are professionals who are on the Miskatonic Repository. What does it mean on the later end or the latter end of you getting some momentum and getting content out there? I mentioned this during a panel at the Miskatonic Repository convention, but there's a creator who was there at that con who the Miskatonic Repository pays their rent each month. Take a moment, take a deep breath, unpack that. What if something you wrote once, the residual sales on that were paying your rent? That is incredible. As far as I'm concerned, you're a professional writer out there. If my mortgage or my rent is being paid off of some content creation, I'm a professional. I don't care. I'm putting the title on my name. You can't say nothing to me. The other thing I think the Miskatonic Repository does, which is one of the more understated aspects, in my opinion, let's say you actually want to write directly for Chaosium or for whomever. One of the things publishers really want to see is that you can complete a project. Everyone has good ideas. I have good ideas. Jamie has good ideas. My mama has good ideas. Everyone and their mama has good ideas. Can you put it on paper and see it all the way through to completion? That's huge. That's huge. When you apply for a lot of these writing jobs, whether it's an out call on the Drive Through RPG page or somebody's Facebook page, or it was forwarded to you, they want to see some completed work. Notice, I didn't say they wanted to see top shelf work. I didn't say they wanted to see A+ or A+ beyond reproach work. I didn't say they wanted to see flawless work. They want to see that you have it completed. That's a really, really big thing.